When your toddler clings to your leg at a birthday party, you probably think, give them a minute, they'll warm up. So you wait, and they don't. So you tell yourself, they're just shy. But what if I told you that your instinct to wait and give them space might actually be the exact thing making their anxiety worse? And that shyness you're seeing might not be shyness at all. Here's what most parents don't realize. When toddlers experience social anxiety, they don't cry, they don't throw tantrums, they just stop. They watch, they freeze. And because it looks like normal caution, you miss it. This pattern shows up in family after family. Parents who are loving, attentive, and doing everything right, and they're still missing the signs. Not because they're bad parents, but because anxiety in toddlers doesn't look like anxiety in adults. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. Not just the obvious signs, but the subtle ones. The ones that hide in plain sight. The ones that look like personality traits, but are actually your child's nervous system crying for help. And more importantly, you'll know exactly what to do about it. Let's start with why these signs are so easy to miss. Imagine you walk into a new playgroup with your 2-year-old. There are other kids playing, parents chatting, toys everywhere. Your toddler stops at the door, scans the room, grips your hand a little tighter. What do you think? They just need a minute to adjust, and you're not wrong. But here's what's actually happening inside your toddler's brain. Their amygdala, the part of the brain that detects threats, is firing faster than their language centers can keep up. It's like walking into a meeting where everyone stares at you, and you've forgotten your pants. Your heart pounds, your face burns. You want to run, but your legs won't move. And everyone's watching. That's what your toddler's brain is doing, except they don't have the words to tell you. So instead, they freeze, they cling, they watch. And because they're not crying or melting down, we think they're okay. We think, give them time, they'll warm up. But here's the thing. Some toddlers are genuinely cautious and just need time. Others are experiencing genuine anxiety. And the difference matters. Because anxiety that's misunderstood becomes anxiety that's reinforced. We expect anxiety to look like fear. We expect crying, clinging, obvious distress. But in toddlers, anxiety often shows up as the opposite, as quietness, as stillness, as hyper-awareness. Please don't worry. Missing these signs doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're about to learn what to look for. So let's talk about the 5 signs. The first sign is what I call the freeze before engagement pause. Here's what it looks like. Your toddler arrives at daycare. They stop at the door and they don't move. 10 seconds, 15, 30. They scan the room like they're memorizing every exit. Their hand tightens on your leg, but they're not crying. They're not upset. They're just frozen. And it's not normal caution. Normal caution is a quick look around. This is something else. This is your toddler's fight-flight-freeze response kicking in. When the brain perceives a social situation as potentially overwhelming, it defaults to freeze mode, especially in young children. It's their nervous system's way of buying time to assess safety. Think about the last time you walked into a room full of strangers. Your brain did a quick scan. Who's here? Where's the exit? Where can I stand? Your toddler's brain is doing the same thing, except their scan isn't quick. It's exhausting. And it happens every single time. What to watch for? Next time you arrive somewhere with other kids, count how many seconds it takes your toddler to move toward others after you walk in. If it's consistently more than 15 to 20 seconds, and they're scanning the environment intensely during that time, pay attention. This doesn't mean they're antisocial. It means their nervous system is working overtime to feel safe. The second sign is clinginess that completely disappears when you're at home. Here's a common example. A toddler at home is fearless. They drag chairs to the counter to help cook. They jump off the couch yelling, "Watch me." But at the park, they become a different child. They grip their parent's hand so tight. And when the parent tries to sit on a bench, just for a second, the child pulls them back up. Not crying, not throwing a fit, just can't let go. And here's what most parents think. This is just their personality. They're clingy. But here's what was actually happening. Unfamiliar environments trigger what's called social load in your toddler's brain. It's the mental and emotional energy required to navigate new people, new spaces, new expectations. At home, there's no social load. They know they're safe. But out in the world, their brain is working so hard to stay regulated that they need you as their anchor. The key is the contrast. If your child is independent at home but can't let go of you in social settings, that's not personality. That's their nervous system saying, "I need help staying calm right now." And that's okay. but it's also worth paying attention to. The third sign is hyper-aware watching instead of playing. This is what it looks like. You're at a playground. Other toddlers are running, climbing, laughing. Your toddler is standing at the edge, watching. Not with excitement or curiosity, but with intense focus. They're tracking every movement, every interaction, every sound. They're not playing, they're monitoring. Think about the last time you walked into a party where you didn't know anyone. You weren't looking around thinking, what fun? You were scanning for threats. Where's the exit? Who's looking at me? Where can I stand where I won't be in the way? Your toddler is doing the exact same thing. Except for them, every social situation feels like that party. Every single time. When toddlers feel socially anxious, they use observation as a safety strategy. It's called vigilance behavior. Their brain is constantly scanning for threats, a loud voice, a sudden movement, an unfamiliar face. And because they're so focused on monitoring, they can't relax enough to actually play. Here's your test. Next time you're at a social play space, notice where your toddler spends most of their time. Are they in the thick of it? Or are they on the periphery, observing? When their nervous system is stuck in surveillance mode, they'll always choose the edges. This fourth sign is the one that confuses parents the most. In fact, when I explain it, parents literally say, "Oh my God, that explains everything." Because it doesn't look like anxiety. It looks like bad behavior. It looks like your child is fine all day, and then suddenly becomes impossible for no reason. Here's how it usually goes. You've just left a birthday party. Your toddler was fine the whole time. Maybe a little quiet, but fine. You get in the car, and suddenly, complete meltdown, screaming, crying, inconsolable. And you think, what just happened? They were fine 5 minutes ago. But here's what was actually happening. During the social event, your toddler's nervous system was in overdrive. They were holding it together, regulating their anxiety, managing sensory overload. It's like holding your breath for hours. Then, when they finally feel safe, in the car, with you, they release it all. You think the meltdown is about the cookie they didn't get. But actually, it's the accumulated tension from hours of social stress. Psychologists call this delayed emotional discharge. The meltdown isn't random. It's their body's way of finally processing everything they couldn't process in the moment. This doesn't mean your toddler is dramatic. It means they were trying so hard to be okay, and now they're exhausted. If you notice this pattern, calm during events, falling apart immediately after, that's a key sign their nervous system needs more support. The fifth and final sign is sudden silence around peers. At home, your toddler's chatty. They talk to you, their siblings, even their stuffed animals, but put them in a room with other children, and suddenly, they go quiet. Not just shy, completely silent. Or they respond in one-word answers, barely audible. Why this happens? When anxiety spikes, the brain shuts down non-essential functions. And guess what the brain considers non-essential? Speech. Your toddler's nervous system is saying, we might need to run, stop talking and pay attention. It's not that they won't talk, they can't. Here's a pattern that emerges often. Parents report that their child talks nonstop at home. But at preschool drop-off, the child won't say a word, not even to them. And when you look closer, it's not defiance, it's not shyness, it's anxiety. The child's body is so overwhelmed by the social environment that speech becomes nearly impossible. I want to be clear. Some toddlers are naturally quieter around peers, and that's just their temperament. But if your child is verbal at home and goes silent in social settings, especially if it's consistent, that's worth noting. Silence is communication. It's your toddler's way of saying, this is too much right now. And that's not something to punish or push through. It's something to support. So what do you do? Here's exactly how to start easing social anxiety at home. First, create predictable transitions. Before going to a social event, create a little ritual. Maybe it's reading the same book in the car or talking through who will be there. Predictability calms the anxious nervous system. Second, use co-regulation phrases. When your toddler hesitates, don't push. Instead, say, I'm right here. Take your time. Let them know you're their safe person and there's no rush. Third, practice tiny exposures. Don't avoid social situations, but don't overwhelm them either. Start with 30-second interactions. Wave to a neighbor. Say hi to one child at the park. Small, manageable doses build confidence. Fourth, name the feeling gently. When you see them freeze or cling, say softly, it feels big right now, doesn't it? This helps them start connecting their physical sensations to emotions. A critical skill for managing anxiety. Finally, reinforce bravery, not perfection. If your toddler took one step toward another child, acknowledge it. You walked over, even that was brave. Celebrate the effort, not the outcome. Here's exactly how this works in real life. Next time you arrive at a playgroup, try this. Before you even get out of the car, say, "We're going to go inside. I'm going to stay right next to you the whole time. When you're ready, you can look around. And if it feels too big, we can take a break." That's predictability. That's co-regulation. That's support. Then, when you walk in, let them pause. Count to 30 if you need to. No pushing, just stand there. When they take even one step away from you, even if it's just to look at a toy, lean down and whisper, "You did it. You took a brave step." That's how these strategies work together. These won't eliminate anxiety overnight, but they teach your toddler that their feelings are valid, that they're safe, and that they can handle hard things. One tiny step at a time. You might be thinking, did I cause this? No. Social anxiety in toddlers isn't caused by bad parenting. It's often temperament, genetics, or just how their nervous system is wired. Should I push them into social situations? No. Pushing creates more fear. Support, not force, is what helps. Do I need professional help? If these signs are severe, persistent, or interfering with daily life, yes, talk to a pediatrician or child psychologist. Early support can make a huge difference. Isn't this just shyness? Here's the difference. A shy child will warm up after repeated exposure. Each time gets a little easier. An anxious child? Without support, each time feels just as hard or harder than the last. Shyness is a personality trait. Anxiety is a nervous system response. And your response to each needs to be different. You know the 5 signs now. And if you caught even one of them in your toddler, you're already ahead of where most parents start. But here's what happens next. That quiet toddler who freezes at the playground, by 3rd grade, they're the perfectionist who can't sleep before tests. The clingy 2-year-old. They become the 8-year-old with mysterious stomach aches every Sunday night. Anxiety doesn't disappear. It just gets better at hiding. The class clown who's actually masking panic. The overachiever who melts down over small mistakes. The always happy child who's secretly struggling. These are the 8 signs most parents miss in older children. And I've broken down every single one.